Hello again. Welcome back. As you can see, I'm surrounded by rugs, and that's because I'm going to do something a little bit different this month. At the end of September, beginning of October, we're having our fall rug drop. In preparation for this, I was going to go over every rug that is coming out and why we've chosen it for this drop. Now, if you don't know how things work around here, the way we usually put out rugs is I will spend about a month or a month and a half gathering pieces that I like, that are special in some way or another, something that strikes me, something that hits my eye, and I will add it to the incoming drop list. That's how we do it. And then at the end of the month, or when we've got them all cleaned and repaired, we will drop them all at once on our website, and then people who are signed up to our newsletter get access for something like 48 hours, and then they're released to the rest of the public. The rugs that we put out in our drops, we would be more than happy to have any of them in our own home. Obviously, we just don't have the room, and the name of the game is not filling our house with rugs, it's trying to help you fill your house with good rugs. In preparation for that, we're going to sit down and we're going to discuss every rug that is coming out in next month's drop. So without further ado, let's just get into it. And I'm just going to start at the top of the list with rug number 5900, the Karaja Runner. And this is one of our more recent acquisitions. This is a Karaja Runner. It's a skinny runner, so that's always special. Anything less than 3 feet wide, we love. If it's 3 feet wide and it isn't sort of janky in its shape, we love those, even in the condition that this one is in. As much of a meme as it is to say, there is some distressing going on in this rug. It's evenly spaced, which is something that we like to see if there is distress. And it's an unusual design for a Karaja. This Karaja has this sort of large leaf motif all over the field, and it's actually something that we would really mostly see in a Heriz rug. Now, that's not unusual. Karaja, Heriz, they're neighboring villages, so to see them borrow and trade designs is not really rare, but it's very cool to see. And so this sort of oversized, exaggerated design on a runner is very attractive, along with these really great colors. There's a dark navy field, and each of the leaves is a different color. So we have alternating pinks and blues, and then the center medallion, which this runner has a central medallion, that's also pretty cool. Although it's worn, is this very nice green color. It's a narrow runner, it has a larger scale to the field, great colors, and an attractive decorative wear. All right, next, rug number 2568, the antique Mahal. We have B-roll of this, so I don't need to unroll it. Mahal rugs are interesting. This is the first drop that we're ever going to have a Mahal rug in. We actually have 2 of them. But Mahal rugs are sort of the more cottage industry, more primitive versions of Farrahan rugs. Now, obviously, Farrahan rugs are these big, intricate, aristocratic sort of rugs. And Mahals are typically sort of the more simple versions of those rugs. Simple is not a detractor here. In fact, because of those scaled back designs, they are more geometric, which means they are a bit more versatile, especially with today's interior design trends. This one also benefits from being an all-over compartment motif. Great colors on this. This one also has a bit of all-over wear, but in my opinion, the colors on this rug are very, almost like candy colored. They're very bright and fun. Blues and pinks and greens and oranges and yellows. And the wear has subdued those colors a bit. And it's nice and even. There's not just one corner or in the center that's worn down to the foundations. It's a nice, even, all-over wear that has really mellowed out some of those brighter colors. And I do think that this is one of the more special pieces that we have coming out in our next drop. Number 2566, the fine regal Malayer. We've done an entire unraveled on this Malayer, but as a recap, we have this great Kalamkar design Malayer with a central tree of life being flanked by peacocks and the lion and bull motif. Very finely woven, incredibly soft and plush. Just a really great example of a early Malayer Persian rug. We're getting all the unraveleds out of the way right out of the bat. This is number 2576, the Antique Eagle Kazak, unraveled episode 2. If you want more information on this piece specifically, you should go watch that. This is a very sought after type of Caucasian rug. It has a very striking motif, these giant sprawling medallions. This one has 2, sometimes you see them with 3 or 1 with flanking band motifs. They are technically a type of dragon rug, so I mean, you can't get any better than that. This is a really cool piece. I was very, very happy to acquire it and am excited to finally put it out into the world. So we have 5908 vintage Turkish Sivas Area Rug. This one will probably appeal to a couple different types of people. It was a type of rug that I sort of wanted in our arsenal because it appeals to a lot of modern interior design trends, mostly sort of this beige gold color palette, very fine designs, and it also caters to smaller spaces because this is a 6x9. And so this one is from probably about the 1930s, but it manages to have that sort of gold color without the sort of modern interior design trend of bleaching the rug and taking all the colors out of it. So there are accents to the field of this rug, and I'm pretty happy to have this sort of as an option for somebody looking for those trends. I've actually done a reel about this one before. This is 2562 Ersari Tribal Area Rug. I really wanted in this next drop some sort of larger scale or area size Turkmen piece. And I think this particular piece was just a great option for that because it does have the sort of typical Ersari color palette that is sort of this darker, deeper red, almost like a rust or chocolate red color. But then this one, because it is a little bit older, I don't know if it's quite 19th century, it might just be circa 1900, but it does have these sort of brighter accent colors, and one that really stands out is the blue. Now, I don't know how they got the indigo to glow like this against the red field. It really is a cool feature of this rug to have such a bright blue against the red field. There are other colors here. There is this very mellow slate green on several of the gulls. There are 12 main classic Ersari gulls across the field. This is also a rug that we did a bunch of repairs to close up the ends, both the selve edges and the fringes, so that the unraveling would stop. And there is quite a nice bit of a brash on this rug as well, giving it a lot of character and personality. The next one I cannot pick up because it's too big. Number 2572, the rustic Heriz. So we have a couple of Heriz in this drop, and this one I particularly enjoy because it does not focus, as many Heriz do, on so much red. In fact, there is a distinct lack of red, and it has been traded in for this sort of terracotta color. In fact, all the colors on this rug are a bit more subdued than a typical Heriz. There's this robin's egg blue, there's sort of this creamy ivory. The borders of this Heriz are also something I really quite enjoy. They're very different. It's somewhat of a Herati pattern, although the main medallions have sort of been adjusted and changed to be sort of unrecognizable. One of the two looks almost like a harshang shape, and so that was one aspect of this Heriz that really excited me. It is about 1930, so that's where it gets its exaggerated designs from, as well as its color palette and the overall complexity of the field design. All right, next, 5891. This is this guy. This is not an Oriental rug. This is, I don't really know exactly where it's from. It's some Latin American piece. I don't think it's Mexico. I kind of think it's Peruvian just based on the subject matter, but it is a runner. It's a pictorial runner, which is kind of interesting. It's actually really interesting. It's sort of why I bought it and why I wanted it in this drop. Because pictorial runners are not unknown, but they are very different. It's very strange, I think, for me to see a pictorial runner and sort of in this, from this part of the world is also very cool. We see two farmers, one shepherd, and his lamb and a dog. I thought it was just awesome. I thought it was so cool. So I made sure to grab it and I'm happy to include it here. I don't really have an age on this. I feel like it's probably second half of the 20th century. It's not super old. It's not an antique by any means, just based on the dies, but it is fun and we love fun. So that's why it's here in this drop. Number 2567, another one that I am not going to be able to pick up, but it is a vintage Heriz. This Heriz finds a nice balance between being an all-over design and a central medallion, because the central medallion on most Heriz rugs is very prominent. It's like right in your face. And this one manages to be at the center of the rug where the medallion would be, but it's much smaller, and it's really the leaves and other motifs flanking it that take the most attention, which to me says more all-over design. The all-over design is more what interior designers will think about because it's easier to arrange the furniture on an all-over piece or the entire room on an all-over piece as opposed to a rug that does have a central medallion. There's a couple things that struck me about this Heriz. One, despite its age, which is around 1940, so technically vintage, it does not have the offensive color palettes that would come in these 1940s and later Heriz rugs. Many of these 1940s and later Heriz rugs. This one still is using many all-natural dyes, which gives it this sort of more mellow look and more even an aged look. This one also has wear, but it's sort of spread around nicely. It's a smattering of wear. And I think that that paired with the color palette just gives it a really nice sort of antiquated look. Even though the 1940s Heriz rugs can to me just be a little bit too busy, I think this one, it just struck the right balance when it comes to the amount of wear, the color usage, and the overall motifing of the rug. So this one is not back from getting repaired, so I'll have to shoot some B-roll and put it over this, but this is number 5878, the Khotan Pictorial Area Rug. This is an incredibly interesting and cool piece. So Khotan rugs from this time period, especially these vase rugs, we call them, come from modern-day Western China or East Turkestan in antiquity. When compared to something like a Heriz or a Bijar, there just were not a lot of these made. They are limited in their number. And Khotan rugs in this size sort of come in a few different shapes. There's an all-over pomegranate design that is very famous. But often they are pictorial in nature. And sometimes these pictorial rugs can show animals like cranes or tigers. And then there was a point where these rugs started borrowing from, say, Peking and Ningxia rugs and started doing these vase designs. Now, oftentimes there will be something like 5 to 6, maybe 4 to 6 vases across the field. What I love about this piece in particular is that it's not just vases. There are vases, but there's vases with flowers, there's a vase with like a bonsai tree, there's books, there's like an arrow, there's pencils, there's a notebook. There's so many little cool things. It's almost like a still life on a rug. I love the borders on this rug too. The borders are very, very cool. The border is sort of this meandering floral border, and even cooler, it's framed by little bamboo. But the background of the rug is bled all on the normal background, on the normal field of the rug behind the still life, but it's also the same underneath the borders. Normally, you would see on these rugs, the borders are a different color than the field. This one, it's all the same. And the border is very simple, but very elegant. It's just a meandering floral pattern. I could talk for days, maybe I will. I probably will do an unraveled about this Khotan once we get it back, but the Khotan Area Rug is one of our new flagship rugs, and it's something that I am incredibly excited about. Okay, this next one, we have our other Mahal. So this Mahal, I wanted one more Mahal for this drop, basically to display what a typical Mahal looks like. So Mahal rugs and Farrahan rugs are sort of cousins. And so the designs will sort of bleed into each other at a certain point. So on one end of the spectrum, you have definitely Mahal, and on the other end of the spectrum, you have definitely Farrahan. And in the middle, they sort of meet and then change into one another, especially design-wise. The one that we already talked about has this compartment design that is very, very Farrahan. The further you get on the spectrum towards Mahal, in my opinion, the weirder the designs become. I don't really know how to put it. It's almost this abstract designs where they almost look like accidental, the way that they've designed the main repeating all over medallions. It also has elements of Herati because you see these sort of leaves flanking these medallions or these shapes across the field. It's very, very weird. It's very cool. Mahal rugs, these sort of classic alien Mahal rugs are some of my favorites. Especially looking at the border of this rug, it's very odd. This sort of green and orange repeating medallion border. All that said, I think this is a really good representative of the more Mahal side of the Mahal Farrahan spectrum. And that's why I wanted to have it as a part of this drop. We're getting really funky, dude. This is Persian. It is a Persian rug. It's from the 1990s. And I kind of dare you to find anything more 90s than what we're looking at here. It's totally handmade, and it has this like Rubik's Cube repeating square checkerboard pattern to it. So this is a Persian Gabbeh rug, and Gabbeh rugs are known for having these very simple designs. And this sort of rainbow Rubik's Cube design is also not out of the ordinary for Gabbeh rugs, except this one just being from the time period it's from and the fact that there is nothing else on the field. There's no other indicators that this is a Gabbeh rug. There's no like little people, there's no extra border. It's just the one monocolor light baby blue border, and then it's off to the races with this Rubik's Cube design. I thought this rug was super cool. I don't know who's gonna buy it. It's gonna take a very special individual to buy this rug. And it's funny because this came out of a kid's room. And I kind of think that that's the perfect utilization. It's funny, it's sort of the two ends of this are kids' room and New York modernist apartment. I wanted something that represented the end of the 20th century in this drop, and I think this perfectly represents the 90s. There's nothing, there almost couldn't be anything more 90s than this rug. But I think that's going to wrap it up for what's coming. I'm very excited for this, as I hope you are too. If you have any questions about any of these pieces, or if you have something that you're specifically looking for, please feel free to reach out to us on Instagram. We're always willing to engage with anybody who's interested in rugs. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy hunting.